we are starting a 7-day gravel bikepacking adventure. I feel slightly scared saying that now, Dan. How are you feeling?
I feel great. Just ready to go, genuinely. I'm just so excited now.
Uh-oh.
And we've both just gone very quiet. Just both getting our heads down and grinding this out.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely on the limit.
Can't really take it anyway because there's a risk of death.
I know you're feeling fresh if you're vlogging. Oh.
Definitely not feeling fresh.
So this guy that's being bundled in the back of a taxi with a bike box is Dan from UK Bike Fit. You might recognise his face from his social media platforms. Please do give him a follow if you haven't already. That is myself on the left. I've shotgunned the front seat. We are in Lanzarote. We're starting a 7-day gravel cycling adventure. We're going to take you along for the ride. It is a true roller coaster, and unfortunately it does end in pretty much a full-on disaster, so I'm going to share with you everything that happened. This does just start with us nervously unboxing our bikes on the side of the street, hoping that we're not just going to find a pile of carbon fibre and that they do still resemble bikes. We got them built and that was absolutely fine. Both bikes operational. The only slight problem we had was that Dan's rear tyre was slightly out of shape. I mean, you can make your own minds up about that, but yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. I've certainly enjoyed putting it together, so yeah, enjoy.
Looks alright, that.
I mean, we've only got like 500 miles planned this week, so I'm sure it'll bed in. Oh, how did your bike build go, Dan?
Swimmingly.
Was it stress-free and
yeah.
the plan?
So far, I mean, I've not ridden it yet, so it could ride like a bag of nails, so we'll find out in a minute.
It did that anyway before you brought it here. My bike's ready to roll. I think, again, exactly the same though. It looks good just sat there, but we haven't actually turned the pedals yet, so we're going to try and now offload these bike boxes at the bike shop. And then we've got about, I think it's 5k to the accommodation, so. We only had a handful of kilometres to ride to the hotel. The actual ride week starts the next day and it is planned to be 700 kilometres with over 16,000 metres of vertical climbing across gravel and road. There's probably going to be some walking in there as well. So we were certainly teeing ourselves up for a big week on the bikes, but we both trained fairly well the last couple of months. We're feeling like we're ready for a big adventure, so we were ready to get stuck in. All right then, so hotel number one. This is actually pretty good, isn't it, Dan? Not bad at all.
Not bad.
Nice pool. I'll be getting a dip in there later. The only problem I have come across is that I've only brought one pair of shorts, which are my swimming shorts. So if I go for a swim, I'm going to need to like dry them out for a couple of hours before I go for an evening meal or something, but whatever. They've even pushed the beds together for us, Dan. Saves us a job, doesn't it? Shall I get rid of one of the quilts?
Yeah.
Shall I get rid of one of the quilts?
Yeah.
We are starting a 7-day gravel bikepacking adventure. I feel slightly scared saying that now, Dan. How are you feeling?
I feel great. Just ready to go, genuinely. I'm just so excited now.
Yeah.
Now all the travel stress is out of the way and my bike's in one piece and it works. I'm just ready to go now.
It's a bit early to be saying that, but okay.
No, I'm up for it.
We have smashed the breakfast buffet. Today is going to be about 85 miles and about 7,000 feet of climbing, lots of gravel, some road, all the way across the island of Lanzarote. We've got 15 miles into a headwind to start, and then the rest of it should be a tailwind, which in reality is just going to mean it's really hot. But should we get cracking?
Yes, please.
Let's go. These bikes are heavy, by the way. We are loosely following the Gran Guanche route. That's correct, isn't it? Did I say that all right? Duolingo level 15?
But we're not at the start yet. We've got 15 miles to ride to the start of the Gran Guanche route.
Which is demoralising, especially because I thought the hotel was in a different place to what it was, so it's another few miles as to what I thought. So today's going to be a bit longer of a day, but we're ready, aren't we?
I'm ready.
You hear my saddlebag squeaking? That's not going to get annoying for a week.
So we've just got to Orzola.
We've started, haven't we?
We've started. So we've ridden 20 miles to get to the start, which is in Orzola, which is the start of the Gran Guanche gravel race when it is raced. So pace hasn't been amazing.
Oh, thanks for that. I thought I was doing really well.
Mainly down to Dan's legs, but
yeah,
predominantly down to the block headwind that we've had for 20 miles.
Yeah.
Which is not the ideal start, but now we've turned into the tailwind.
Yeah.
And now it feels so hot.
It's red hot. And I'm beginning to flap already. I already have been off camera about how long today's going to take. We've got 70 miles left. Time of day is 20 past 10. I thought the last ferry was at 6. There might be a later one, but we're riding across Lanzarote today, getting the ferry across to Fuerteventura and staying there tonight. So we booked our accommodation all week based on those things happening. So we cannot not get across the water to Fuerteventura today. It has to happen.
So Dan's panicking, as you can tell, but we're going to be totally fine. I'm the optimist of this bunch. So anyway, we'll crack on and see how far we get. Planning to stop in about what, 30 miles or something. For a bit of a lunch stop. So we'll see how we go. So the first climb seems pretty major, and Dan, it is baking hot with a tailwind, isn't it? Can't believe how much it's changed just with the wind. It's so hot now, sweating loads. Yeah. So on the actual event, it starts at 10 PM, so they don't see any of this, whereas we're going to see it in the day. What a stupid idea, starting at 10 o'clock at night. I bet it's cooler though. The temperatures are better. Yeah. Do you think anyone's going to have sympathy with us watching this in October in the UK? Absolutely not. That's a punishing way to start. I was flat out up this first gravel climb just to keep moving. Man, bikes are heavy, I'm heavy, it's hot. Come on. In other news though, we did discover I had the wrong route on. It's actually a bit shorter. Now I've got the right route on. But that doesn't really make it feel much better at the minute. Dan's climbing well as expected. He can get the Fanta lemons in at the next calf. I'm not ashamed to say I've not got up this first hill. I'm gonna get up it, but not on a bike. So we just hit the first gravel climb, and oh my god, that was a bit of a baptism of fire because it was pretty steep. I was worried about my gearing, to be honest, before I came, thinking I could do with a bigger cassette, but I'd have to change group set and all sorts to get a bigger cassette on there, so I didn't. And yeah, as it turns out, I was maxed out up there, you know, grinding away, because that was pretty steep, and the surface is really loose and sandy and quite deep sand, so it's hard to get any grip. So yeah, not amazing feelings with the first in the first 5k, but there you go. Dan's just coming up now. I presume he had to unclip because there was a fair few little wells going down the middle of the track, so it was really hard to get grip. But yeah, worried for what's to come now, but either way, we'll be all right.
My god, I
what?
got about halfway up there and just couldn't turn the pedals.
What are your first thoughts now?
I thought, oh no, I got a picture of you going up it. I thought, job done, my worth here is proven. And then that little drain gully across it, I surged over it and then just blew up.
Yeah. Oh,
how about you?
I've just said something similar.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of this. I'm going to apologise now once for holding you up on every single hill the rest of this week, Dan. I'm not going to apologise again, okay? Wowee though, when you do get to the top of a climb, check this out. Check that out. Woohoo! I'm not going to get too close to the edge if that's okay. No pressure, Dan, but this is the postcard shot.
I don't want to stop too much for photos, but look at that.
Yeah.
You can't not stop for that.
That is amazing. I mean, what's that down there? Big square? It looks like it's like a short airfield or something. See on this corner. I mean, for scale, that's probably a pretty big boat down there, isn't it? This descent is nuts. It's on gravel, but it's really good gravel. I've been doing like 35 miles an hour for a few minutes on gravel. It's insane. Dan's even going faster than me. I've not got the cojones to go descend as fast as him. Have you ever thought about MasterChef? I think we just found your calling. You've literally lifted it out as a slab and put it on.
Why cut it up when it just comes ready-made for a sandwich?
Oh, I thought the dates were going on there as well. No,
no, that's for round 2 of MasterChef.
Got it.
That'll get me to the final.
Sorry.
Just got off a really tough section of deep sand, riding right next to the coastline. It's basically just like riding through the beach, and the tyres are just digging straight into the sand and you can't pedal out of it, and yeah, just hard going, slow going, and it was effort to keep moving. And we've just got out of that, and now we've got a nice long stretch of everybody's favourite type of gravel, tarmac.
Compacted and sealed gravel.
Beautiful.
That was really fun though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good to like get the back wheel moving. It was just hard work, like hard going.
The rocky bit, you have to spend so much mental focus on thinking, because you're trying to avoid the big rocks, not to puncture and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Give you something else to focus on other than, oh, I'm cycling a long way. Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. It was good.
Like, to me, that's harder than going up any climb.
Yeah, yeah.
You're putting out some power.
Thinking, something I've always struggled with, so. And thinking before I speak, that's another one. Oh, yeah. To give you an idea of how strong this tailwind is, Dan, we're currently doing 22 miles an hour and it feels like there's no wind, doesn't it?
Doing about 30 watts.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane how strong this tailwind is. Like, and it's so quiet, like you can just hear your tyres and your gears, can't you? It's so weird. What Dan's most pleased about is it means I can just talk to him so much. Like
trying to freewheel as much as possible, yeah. So my hub drowns him out.
And another thing. So 7 hours on the pedals, done for day 1. This felt like such a big day, however, it was only going to get bigger. Straight on a ferry across to Fuerteventura. It felt sort of a bit sad to be leaving Lanzarote after only 1 day, but Dan was certainly happy to get the ride done, as was I. So day 2, we have to ride across the whole of Fuerteventura today. It was an early start, just after 6 AM, but we had a long way to go, about 95 miles and 7,000 feet. Spirits were still high, fatigue was beginning to set in, but what a beautiful morning to start the day. Right, so we're 1 hour in, it's still dark, but the sun is just starting to rise. Dan and I are going to treat ourselves to a wee stop when the sun rises, and I'm going to sort my bag out. We've been riding on what we keep calling washboard. It's like sand that we think the wind has just like shaped into little tiny dunes, and it just means it's really bumpy, so it's quite fatiguing, and when you can't really see where you're going it's difficult, but when the sun comes up it'll be a lot easier. We're told that the rest of the route today is quite bumpy in places as well, but we've got low pressures and we're just sort of not riding too hard on the bumpy bits and trying not to let it get to you, but it just like makes your hands sore, arse sore, those sorts of things. And yeah, Dan's in good spirits as well, and I think that rubs off on both of us, so.
Oh, car. What's the car doing now this time of the morning? Yeah, it's been a good morning so far, hasn't it? Yeah, very much so. We're sort of like on schedule. We know it's realistic we can get today's ferry as long as nothing goes wrong, touch wood. So we've just got to keep chugging. Choo choo. Hard to drink when the terrain's like this, but this is awesome. Long way to go, Dan, but you feeling all right? Doing very well.
I might pick this up on an easy a bit later.
You know what? This is what it's like dealing with this monkey for a week with his camera. Gets it out at the most inopportune moment.
I always get it out at an inopportune moment. So I'm not actually a fan of heights. I'd even go so far as to say they do scare me a little bit. So riding next to that, like I'm so tense. Woo. As Dan reminded me though, just keep turning left. Okay, Dan, will do. And therefore, I will not be riding on this. No chance. Absolutely zero. And the bike's on that side, because I'd rather lose that than me. Yeah.
We just got to the top of our first climb of the day. We're getting beaten up today. We got off the beach first thing this morning where it was really deep sandy stuff where you really have to fight hard just to keep the bike going in a straight line and not sideways. And now the gravel, as we've come more inland, is really chunky. Some big rocks, big stones, loose. Yeah, it's just been hard work so far. We're about 20 odd miles in. Dan's coming up the climb now.
I think that's everyone.
So we'll press on. I mean, the scenery is absolutely incredible. The sun's just behind a couple of clouds at the minute, but it's creating some good views. So yeah, we'll press on.
Oh, we were making such good progress there. Just gone flying down that hill, hit the bottom. Bottle's gone flying. Front wheel definitely bottomed out. I've not looked at it yet. I'm hoping that that's not caused a P word or broke a wheel or something, but I just stopped. I can't leave a bottle. 1 for littering, 2, I need the fluid. Let's have a look at this wheel. Nothing that side. Cool. Right, we're all good. We're just on the first proper road section of the day, and it's not actually going to last very long. We're turning right in half a mile onto the first big climb of the day, and we're just trying to figure out which one of those mountains it is, because it's a big one, Dan, so it's going to be one of them, hasn't it?
Yeah, this is going to be the hardest climb of the day, I think.
But at least if we're going right, it's not those ones.
No.
And our first water stop is planned to be, it's somewhere up the climb, it's like halfway up or something.
Yeah.
So that should break it up nicely.
Están muy bien. Yo necesito dos. I don't know what you haven't turned the card machine on, it's in Spanish.
Okay, so we're 37 miles and about 3 and a bit hours into today's ride. Just stopped at our first shop. It's actually the first shop we've actually come past, isn't it? So it's not like we've even missed any.
Yeah.
Filled it with fluids. We're going to go for another 36 to 38 miles-ish, including a big climb and a medium-sized climb. So it could be quite a while. So we're just making sure that we've got full fluids, essentially, because it's going to take such a long time to get over some terrain. And if you're on the limit and it's red up and you're not got any fluids, you're in a mess. So, you feeling right, Dan?
Yeah, feel good. Feel really good, actually.
Yeah.
Just need to keep eating and drinking and be alright.
Good stuff. You're just getting your hydration tablets out of your bag, which you smartly packed in the bottom of your saddlebag.
Yeah, it's not my best move, that.
Okay then, Dan, tell us about this 5 miles at 5% lovely gentle climb.
It's about 2.5 miles at 3%, and the last 2.5 miles are at about 8% average, so it gets steeper as it goes up, and there's probably some gravel further up the road as well. It's not all going to be nice smooth tarmac.
And coming out that cafe stop, it feels like we've just stepped out of a fridge into an oven, doesn't it?
So hot now. I'd rather be going where they're going.
Hola!
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 Yeah, that direction looks much more fun.
Yeah. Second summit, so it's very windy up here, Dan. Feels like we're ticking off now. Check that out for a view. Here come the gravel hills then. Oh, we've got about 3,500 feet still to go in about 35-40 miles. And it's just like one after the other. Terrain's pretty tough, the gravel's pretty rough, and like I'm doing 200 watts now for 6 miles an hour, and it's only slightly uphill. Just that tough going. Dan stopped to refill his hydration bladder, so I'm just going to keep rolling, and I'm sure he will catch me on the hills. Whew, we've allowed ourselves, looking ahead, we've got about half an hour in hand, we think, but I think we based it on riding faster than we are now, so we can have one more stop to refuel, but I'll have to play that one by ear. There's only one ferry today, so we have to get it. So we did the big climb, Dan, didn't we? That went okay. It was all road, which was a nice surprise.
Yeah.
Then now we're on another climb, which again is road, but it's really gradual. It's only like 3 or 4%, isn't it? So it's nice just to get into a rhythm. You feeling alright?
Lots of lumps and bumps for the rest of the route now, isn't it?
Yeah, like the climb is really backloaded. It's quite rolling the last sort of 30 miles, isn't it?
But yeah, still feeling good. It's only like, I don't think it's even midday, is it? So we're making really good time.
I feel like I have range anxiety, like I'm driving an EV. Like we're always thinking about fluid, and you weren't able to get much food from the last stop, so we were thinking, like, what have we got between us to get us both to the next stop? It's not an individual effort, this, is it? Like, I've got a couple of emergency gels, and if Dan's not got much food, like, I will give them to him at an expensive price, but the important part is I will give them to him.
Well, I wouldn't. So you're on your own, mate.
Been close up and done? Treating yourself, have you?
These are too big.
Yeah.
They're either 68 euros for someone my size, or these were 12.50. So they're pretty big.
I agree, that's the right decision you've made there.
13s.
That was the right decision.
But whatever.
I'll have them when you're done with them. So Dan, why have you had to buy flip-flops?
I just wanted a change. No, I've lost one.
Somehow.
I've lost one somewhere on that rocky descent, I think. I think what's happened, when we stopped at the cafe, or the supermarket, and I was like, I had to get in my bag to get my hydration stuff out, and I've obviously not put them in properly.
Oh,
so, nightmare.
We're on the home run now then, about 18 miles to go, just over 1,000 feet of climbing. It feels like we're so close but so far, doesn't it, Dan? It's like close enough that you feel like you should be done, but it's still going to be like an hour and a half.
I think it's, well, for me it just feels like we've done the vast majority of the ride, like all the climbing, all the majority of the mileage. We're still like an hour and a half away. It's like, this bit's just irrelevant, this is dragging, but
yeah,
whatever.
So we have done 6.5 hours of riding, 77 miles, just under 6,000 feet of elevation. So a pretty big day out, but yeah, let's make it, what's that going to be, 8 hours?
Not as big as tomorrow.
Not as big as tomorrow, you're right. One day at a time, Dan. One day at a time. Done 8 hours of riding, 90 something miles, 7,000 feet, roller coaster of a day. Got it done, haven't we?
That was a hard day. I wasn't expecting it to be that hard, to be fair. But we got it done, and we got it done in really good time.
Yeah.
Like really good time. We're 2.5 hours early for the ferry, so.
It means we just get fed and watered and be low stress. It's annoying being this early, but right, so what?
I'd much rather be sat here for 2.5 hours and panicking and rushing. So.
Day 3 was another early start just after 6 AM, but we knew we had about 105 miles and 12,500 feet to go. It was going to be our toughest day, and after following on from 2 already massive days on the bike, we knew that this was going to hurt, so we needed time on our side. It does feel good as well, getting an hour or two done in the darkness. Then when it gets light, you're already some way into the day. That was a real big morale builder, but we were both suffering with lack of sleep and just general fatigue. But you know, we were keeping each other's spirits alive and looking forward to having a good day. Unfortunately, this is the day where it does all become undone. We have a massive challenge and a massive climb, and then unfortunately we have some bad luck. Oh, so we're about an hour in. Just taking some more paracetamol, my head is banging. Then punchy little climbs down. Do you remember on day 1? We just kick up them.
Little steep sections in there where you don't have any choice but to press on.
You've got to, and well, I can't be walking them this early on today. Maybe later, but whew, 1 hour down, many to go. I'm trying not to even look up how big the big climb is. Like I'm kidding myself that it's like 20 miles on 20,000 feet, so that anything less than that is going to be a mental boost. I wonder if there'll be a sign at the bottom saying what the length and the gradient is.
I can tell you if you want.
Go on then.
It's 6.5 miles at 10%.
Oh, nice.
And we go up to 7,000 feet altitude.
Okay, let's do it.
Does that make you feel any better?
Yeah, loads. Daniel's having a sandwich. Let's see your culinary skills. Oh yes, nice one.
That's going in there. It's going back in the bag, in my pocket, and I'm hoping it's going to turn into a toasty.
Oh, it will be, yeah.
For lunchtime.
Yeah. I've just gone for some Haribo and some Aquarius to fill the bottles up, and a bottle of Pepsi. A headache is waning. I can't have any more paracetamol for a few hours now because I've had plenty. And yeah, this is the last stop before the big climb, which is going to take us a fair while. But then after that, the next stop, Dan, is a cafe, and we haven't actually had a cafe stop on a ride yet, have we? So we just have...
I want a coffee.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to find good coffee at the top of that mountain. But...
No, but you might not be as picky at the top of the mountain.
No, probably not.
So right, so we're going to get a bit more riding done, hopefully come to this climb and then just settle into it and get it done. Okay, the only way is up now. It's pretty cool climbing up all these little narrow streets, like lightly cobbled. I won't go as far as say it's a cobbled climb.
So about 2 miles in to this 6.5 mile section of 10%, and we're both really struggling now, to be honest. Really struggling. I mean, you can only go as hard as the gradient lets you. Like, you can't ease off. I wish I had a couple more gears, that would have been nice. But we're just grinding our way up. Dan's a little bit further back down the road, and we've probably been whining about the heat way too much this week already, but now is the time to whine about the heat, because we're sort of riding through the bottom of this ravine surrounded by all these rock faces, and the sun's just bouncing off those rock faces, and it feels like an absolute oven down here. My wahoo's telling me it's 33 degrees, but to be honest, it feels even hotter than that. So yeah, 4 more miles of the grind to go, and then it does start to flatten off a little bit. So we'll look forward to that. But look at this scenery. I mean, what an unbelievable place to ride a bike. When it gets hard like this, that's all I'm trying to focus on, is just like the location in the world that I'm in right now is unbelievable. So just trying to take that in and take my mind off the pain. So
those last few hundred meters have been so hard. Although it's tarmac, it's not proper road. This is tough. It's gravelly in places. Oh, every little hairpin that's got a little flat bit on it, just taking so slow. Try and make the most of it. Oh my God. I'm so determined to ride all the way up the steep stuff, because then I know it's going to be easier. And if I can ride the steep bit, oh my God. If I can ride the steep bit, surely I can ride the not steep bits. Okay. Better knuckle down. What was I saying about riding it all? Oh my goodness. Absolutely on the limit. Whew. Good work. That's awesome. I want to have a word with whoever is in charge of like what surfaces is on Strava. Didn't today's climb say it's all tarmac?
Yeah.
There's a slight clerical error. I might have to send an email. You feeling right, Dan? You're looking well.
I'm broken in every way.
Just difficult, isn't it?
That was the most horrific thing I've ever done.
Yet.
Genuinely.
Most horrific thing yet.
Yeah. There's tomorrow to go.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, just under 6 hours to get to halfway distance wise. We've climbed 8,000 feet. We're at 6,200 feet of elevation. We've still got a long way to go, but that's good to tick that off. Enjoy that. So we have a lovely long descent, which has been completely ruined by make it gravel, make it sandy, and make it have sheer cliff drops where you're going to fall to almost certain death. My brakes are pinging, as you can hear, they're absolutely scorching hot. Dan's down there somewhere. It is steep, my arms and shoulders are killing, so I've just stopped to have a minute, but hopefully, I think we've gone up there actually, so it's going to be a long old climb. Never thought I'd say hopefully we've gone up a climb. Oh, what can you do? Right.
If we get a bit of footage of Dan coming down this descent here, I'm sure he can speed it up 3 times and make it look like he's absolutely railing it. So let's see. Oh man. Just going up this gravel climb that's annoyingly in the middle of our descent, but to be honest, the gravel is so chunky and rocky, the descent was very slow. And we've both just gone very quiet. Just both getting our heads down and grinding this out because it's pretty hard work. I was going to say it's not pleasant, but how can it not be pleasant when you're here? I mean, look at it. But yeah, it's been a long day so far, so I think we're both just ready for getting back to some civilization and a shower. We've been out for 9 hours and 20 minutes so far, 9 hours 30 minutes, sorry. So it's been a long day already, and in our heads I think we thought, oh, it's going to be a nice descent back down to the coast, but when you've got this in the way, which is a 1,500 foot gravel climb, it's not really what you want. So anyway, we'll crack on and get to the top regardless, and then hopefully at some point we'll have a nice descent to enjoy. Dan's not really enjoying being right next to the edge of this cliff face, understandably. So sometimes like the faster, easier line is right next to the edge of the cliff, so you can't really take it anyway because there's a risk of death.
I know you're feeling fresh if you're vlogging. Oh.
I'm definitely not feeling fresh. Do I look fresh?
Brilliant, mate, look lovely. Oh man, I'm so stressed and so like knackered. We just keep chipping the miles off, don't we? Slowly but surely, but this is... I can't explain how does the combination of the heat, the terrain, the gradients, everything, the hours and hours of riding we've done before now. What are we on now? 7:40. It's just all adding into one, but when you do tough things it feels damn good, and I know that, so when we get to the end, and we're on half board today, come on. Smash that ice cream machine or whatever they've done. So that's what's keeping me going. We don't know how much gravel's left, how much hills left, how much roads left. I'm just going to keep going. All right, please play it up.
Viewer discretion is advised because this is pretty rank, but the cheese has actually melted, so I'm the winner.
Lovely. People watching it.
And I forgot about it as well.
Yeah.
So it's a nice little surprise, little pick me up.
Yeah. Right, we've got quite a lot of descending now, but we're not getting too excited because we had quite a lot of descending a couple of hours ago and I averaged about 4 miles an hour, so we'll see. 25 miles to go, just under 2,000 feet of climbing, just like a club ride. Oh, let's get it done. 5:15, we want to get showered, changed, get to that buffet and get in bed for another early start tomorrow, but let's get there first. So with the majority of the really technical gravel behind us, we were enjoying a really smooth descent. We weren't going fast, we weren't taking any risks. Unfortunately, with cycling, there's always a risk, and this is unfortunate where Dan does have an accident, but it is just one of those things. I don't believe it's his fault. I never know what to do in times like this in terms of videos. Dan's had a crash, he's alright, can't ride a bike. I need to try and find some emergency services because he can't move essentially. There's no signal where he is, and I'm having to cross this bridge to get to what I think is a house, and I'm absolutely bricking it of heights. Of course it is. Of course it plays. Hello? 1.7 miles down this trail. I've come to the top, got phone signal, thank goodness. But where an ambulance might be able to get down, there's a lock gate, so I need the fire service to come and gain access as well. Oh my God. I really feel for him. He couldn't be any more apologetic, like embarrassed, upset, but I'm just so happy he's not off the side of a cliff. So, you know, these things happen. Hopefully he'll make a full recovery. This trip doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, does it? I've given him everything I've got, water, clothes, etc. Oh, we couldn't be in the middle of nowhere.
I'm sat here waiting for Dan to get some help, and before he left he jokingly said this has got helicopter written all over it, so make sure you've got some travel insurance. I was like, haha, yeah, funny. Anyway, there's a helicopter circling overhead.
So it is not very often at all that I don't know how to end a video, but I feel like today I'm not 100% sure. So I'll just caveat all of this by saying I'm going to get together with Dan at some point in the next few weeks, and we're going to do an episode about the accident and things we've learned and things we might do differently in the future and so on. But firstly, and most importantly, Dan is going to be okay. It was a serious crash. He wasn't going fast, but he just landed on a rock essentially, and he unfortunately broke his hip. That's a serious injury. I'm sure some of you guys and girls watching might have had a broken hip in the past. He had to have an operation the next day. He had 3 pins in his hip. It's going to be a long road to recovery, but the important part is he's going to make a recovery. I've spent the last 10 minutes preceding this clip on this video, like me being nervous about the drops on the side of cliffs and so on. I was just so grateful that he's not fallen off the side of a big hill, and it's not any worse than it already is. Now, what happened after that crash was quite complex. The Spanish emergency services teams were absolutely brilliant. Obviously, there's a language barrier there, but they got an air ambulance out to him. He was at hospital within an hour or so of the crash. He had an operation the next day. The paramedics team were great in helping me out, getting the logistics of me and 2 bikes off the side of a mountain, and honestly, we couldn't have asked them for any much more. Dan then spent about a week in hospital in Spain, which isn't ideal. He wants to be at home with his family, and his family wanted to come out and see him and stuff as well, but we managed to get home within a week of the crash, so I ended up staying out there with him a couple of extra days, but I'd like to think that he would have done the same thing. This could have happened to either of us, and it's just unlucky. I'm really happy that neither of us were descending stupidly fast or doing silly things. It's just everything you do in life, there's a risk associated with it, and when you're riding a bike, that risk is a bit higher, and it's just unfortunately the cards that Dan was dealt that day was not a winning hand. So gutted to see him end the trip like that, and I was gutting for his business and for his life for the next few months and for his family. However, it's good that he's going to make some sort of improvements. If you want to support Dan in any way, no, we're not starting a GoFundMe, but if you were thinking of booking a bike fit, or you want to buy some lake shoes, or you want to buy some bike fit equipment, Dan, I'll leave all Dan's links down below. He's a great guy, doing some good things. He was doing a lot for me on this trip as well. If you can support him in any way, please do. Dan does have Jen, who works with him, who is covering the majority of Dan's appointments over the next however long. So any support you can give his business, I'm sure, will be gratefully received. If not, drop him a follow, drop him a message, give him some well wishes in the comment section down below. I'll be doing my best to look after him in the next few weeks. Obviously, I'm not at his house or anything, but just morally and helping out as and when I can. But just glad that he got home in mostly one piece, and that he's going to make a full recovery. I hope it's not put him off of cycling and gravel cycling. I'd certainly like to do something else with him in the future. Whether we'll go back here and finish this trip, I don't know. I don't know if we'll get approval from both of our other halves, but we will see. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Still, I don't want it to put a big downer on the whole trip, because honestly, I'm not in any way upset or angry or disappointed that my trip had to end at that point. It could have been either one of us. Dan would have done the same for me, and it's just one of those things. Sometimes things in life happen that are outside of your control. We can only just look forward, can't we, and just focus on the things in the future. So thank you very much for watching.